Welcome Transformer fans, my name is Composite Enerjoe and today we bring you my review of the Transformers Cyberverse deluxe class Megatron. And this time I said it correctly, Cyberverse. This is Cyberverse. My last video on the Crash Combiner Saberclaw was supposed to be the Robots in Disguise Combiner Force Crash Combiner. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was very unprofessional in that video, and I do apologize for the mistakes. But I was a little rusty and was like eager to get back into video. So I am sorry about the mistakes in that video. So let's get on to this one. Here is the Cyberverse deluxe class, or warrior class as they like to call it, Megatron, in his tank mode. And it is honestly probably the best thing I can say about it is that it does resemble a tank. With molded guns, and more guns. And I think those are missile pods. Yeah. Although this back part is just atrocious and his little Energon mace is just sticking out. Same thing with his hand. So yeah, as alt mode is not that good. So the best thing I can say is that it does look like a tank. And he also has some wheels underneath. He's got 3 wheels here, here, and here. This one's a bit stiff on mine. And he kind of rolls. He would roll better if this middle one isn't so stiff, so I guess buyer beware on that one. I don't know if this is common for all of them, but this one is just a bit stiff. So, that's it. That's it for his tank mode. Oh, also, the main gun can just go up and down a little bit. More like artillery rather than a tank, since it doesn't move due to the transformation. So just up and down is all you get. And that's it. Now, like all of the Cyberverse figures, they do come with a gimmick. However, Megatron's gimmick doesn't work in his, what's it called, in his vehicle mode. It only works in his robot mode, which is pretty lackluster. So let's get onto that robot mode and transform him, shall we? So he's fairly simple, like all Cyberverse figures. You just separate, there, unpeg, separate, see, straighten out, fold and click, fold and click. Let me lift this up a bit. And then for this part, you just, come on, it's a little tough here. There we go. Pull this off, and then click this into place. Well, it'll swing down, then you click it into place. Click this, like so, then rotate. Then rotate his fusion cannon, and that's it. And check it out. It's a pretty good representation of the G1 Megatron style. Not bad. And even comes with a little molded in a mace. And the gimmick here goes off when you lift up his arm past a certain point. If I lift it higher than this, it goes off, and I'm not ready to show that off yet. Yeah, check out that head sculpt. Very nice. Very nice. Like, design-wise, it's a very nice looking design. Heck, it's the reason why I ended up getting it, because it looked really nice in the packaging. It just looks nice. However, once you start fiddling with it, you start seeing the problems. Especially those in articulation, because the Cyberverse line has one major drawback that I don't like, is that most of the figures, with like very few exceptions, most of them come with gimmicks that hinder articulation. And Megatron here is one of them. I figured it would be a problem, but I didn't think it was this bad, and I'm going to show it. What his gimmick is that if you can either lift up the arm or pull down this lever, it'll actually cause his Energon mace to shoot out. So get ready. You saw it. And now it becomes free and you can just swing it around. I mean, on paper it's a neat gimmick. Oh, and also to retract it, you just get this little clip here. And you retract it, but then it has to retract on the bottom here. If you lift it up, it'll also launch on its own because it's spring loaded. So yeah, neat gimmick, but how do I put this? On paper, it's a neat idea having his Energon mace. However, this entire arm is dedicated to that gimmick, so it doesn't move. It just goes up and down, and it can do this, but that's more for transformation, so it doesn't count. And that's it. So his entire arm might as well not even move, which it doesn't. It's dedicated to his Energon mace gimmick. So let's get on with the rest of the figure. The head, it doesn't move. His right arm can go in and out, all around. A little bit of in and out there, but that's due to transformation. His fusion cannon can also rotate 360. And I have to lift up just to show off his legs. For his lower end, he can go in, he can go, in, out. It's on a ball joint. It's on a ball joint, no swivel there. And a soft, ratchety knee, and that's it. So his articulation for the parts of him that do move is relatively basic. Oh, and he does have an elbow. Because why not? But yeah, he's got an elbow. And that's it. So yeah, it's disappointing how little articulation he has. Especially knowing that his entire left arm is dedicated to this gimmick that makes it useless. And I cannot stand that. I'm a firm believer that if you're gonna remove articulation for a gimmick, that gimmick better be amazing. Or at least worthwhile. But that's pretty pitiful. Especially since you're sacrificing his entire left arm's articulation, which if it had this amount of articulation as the right one, it would have been fine. It would have been perfectly fine. But because of this, his left arm doesn't move. It can't move outside of that gimmick. So that's one major flaw, and I've noticed that in most of the Cyberverse figures, they have that issue where they sacrifice articulation for a lame gimmick. With some very few exceptions being, I guess, the Shockwaves, the two Shockwaves, and the Ultimate Optimus, who retain their standard-ish their decent articulation, because their gimmicks are either in their chest or on their backs, which don't really move to begin with, so they were well designed there. Unlike poor Megatron here, who loses his left arm. And that's pretty much it. And I guess to make myself a little bit more professional, here we have the Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Ratchet for a size comparison, and he's holding a quarter to give you more size comparison. So yeah, so Megatron here is just slightly shorter than what used to be considered a standard, like what would be a standard deluxe class. Megatron here is just like a tiny bit shorter, and even in comparison to this quarter that he's holding. So put him off to the side. So yeah, I'll say that design-wise, Megatron has a nice design. I like the whole the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of Cybertronian G1 aesthetic. Like it's a nice homage. However, once you get down to the actual figure itself, it could be better. Granted, it could be worse, but it should be better. However, I think for what it is as a simple Transformer, no, they still could do better because they did Shockwaves and that Optimus, which were honestly really good and pretty much worth getting. Unlike Megatron here, who doesn't have a left arm, basically. So yeah, overall, it's an okay Megatron. I think it works as if you want to get it as a statue, or for the young Transformer fans who want something more complicated than a rescue bot, you can hand this to him because the transformation is simple. The tank mode looks like a tank. Transformation is simple, and where the robot mode looks nice, it doesn't play nice. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers Cyberverse Deluxe Class / Warrior Class Megatron. This is Composite Enerjoe signing off. Peace out.